Hello, infinite beings. Welcome back to Discovering Infinity, the space where we are releasing human conditioning and tuning ourselves with the energy of infinite possibilities. Okay. So today, you guys, this video is all about what it means to be a free spirit. I think a lot of us know what it means, but then we have a lot of shit that gets in the way of that knowing, and so we forget sometimes, and yeah, I just felt called to share this video with you guys today, and so here we are. Let's do this. Okay, so first things first, being a free spirit means that you are free in every aspect of what your life entails. You're not a slave to anything. You're not a slave to fear. You're not a slave to love. You're not a slave to control. You're not a slave to power. You're not a slave to material possessions. You're not a slave to identity. You're not a slave to, any of these things that exist in the world of shapes and forms. You're not a slave to your thoughts, your feelings, anything. That's what it really comes down to, is full freedom in every aspect of what it means to be a human and what comes with this human experience. And so my first point brings us to freedom to choose how you react and respond to everything. This is, like, to me, major key because a lot of times we convince ourselves that I'm free, I'm a free spirit, nothing in this world has control over me, and then comes your biggest fear, and you have to live it, you have to experience it, you have to face it, and away goes that freedom, because now you're reacting and responding in ways that don't fully align with the person that you say yourself to be, the person that you want to be. And a simple example that's super trending, I don't know if it's still trending right now, but everyone knows this example, is Will Smith and the Oscars. He, for many years leading up to this moment, he claimed himself to be someone that doesn't believe in violence, that says violence is never the answer. There's never a point where you need to resort to violence. He said that time and time again in many, many interviews. And when this moment was presented to him, where he was given the choice, sorry guys, there's so many ants all around me, so I'm just like I'm just looking out to not get bit, but whatever, let's get back to this. So when this moment came, when this moment of opportunity was presented to him, where it was up to him to choose, am I going to be this person I've always said I am and not respond with violence, and choose to respond with love, choose to respond with some self-control, I suppose. He chose not to do that. He chose to go against all these things that he had claimed himself to be for so many years. And it really affected his life in so many ways, because that was the first time he won an Oscar after all these years of being an actor. And he ruined his relationship with the Academy because he resorted to violence, right? Freedom. In that moment, he was a slave to his emotions, and he chose to react and respond in a way that doesn't align with the person that he claims himself to be. And that went on to affect, the consequences of that went on to affect his life in so many ways. And he essentially, the whole world was basically laughing at him, and so yeah, that's a major part of being a free spirit, is having the strength, having the ability to witness something come up within your field, within your energetic field. In this example we've given, to witness the anger, to witness the maybe embarrassment of someone saying that about your wife, and just see it coming up and choose, how do I want to respond to this? Am I gonna let this anger control my choices, control my actions, or am I going to choose from this centered space of the true self that's beyond any of those things, that's beyond the anger, beyond the embarrassment, beyond even like the identity as husband to Jada Pinkett, and say, you know what, I, as this self that I am, I'm not going to react. I'm not going to resort to violence. I'm going to choose peace. I'm going to choose presence, and I'm going to let this just pass through me without pulling me away from the seat of my true self. You know, that is true freedom. And that also just brings us into our second point, which is separating yourself, your true self, your soul, your spirit, your essence with your embodied form. Okay, a lot of times we get attached, we over-identify with this human, you know, this shape, this form, this vessel that we've chosen to, you know, experience this human world through, and we shrink ourselves from the vastness of what we truly are into, boom, now I am Mombi Daniels, and this is all I am, this is all I can see myself as, you know. And then you start to identify with everything that this human is experiencing when you are just the witness, you know. And again, that just really ties in with that first point of freedom to choose how you react and respond, you know. When you're not so identified, when you can separate yourself from your embodied form, then you have more freedom to really choose how can I react and respond, you know. How can I see myself? What am I really, you know? Is there anything of this world that can pull me away from myself? Probably not, you know, definitely not really. When you come into that self, into that true self, I mean, with my own experiences with psychedelics, a lot of things that the human part of me, you know, my mind, my ego cares about just literally diminish. They just dissolve as soon as I am under the effect of any psychedelic that I've, you know, experienced and worked with, because my true self doesn't care about those things. My true self is separate from all those things, and that is freedom. Being able to remain as your true self beyond anything of the human world, and not just the human world, but, you know, the world of thoughts, the world of feelings. That is freedom, really, because then you can just remain centered and grounded in truth no matter what's happening in your field of reality. Oh, this one's a big one. Separating yourself from your desires. That's a big one, because a lot of times we let our desires rule us, okay? A lot of times our desires become our master, and that is another form of slavery, period. I have so many desires that I wish to fulfill in this lifetime, and I know I will fulfill in this lifetime, but a lot of them have not come to me in the way I would have wanted them to come to me, or in the timing that I would have wanted them to come to me. And there's been moments where, you know, I felt myself get so sucked into that desire that I can't be present, that I can't be grateful for all the other blessings in my life, you know. And that is so unhealthy. That, I feel like, a lot of times is even what pushes people into depression, because some of these desires are not even yours. Some of these desires have been programmed into your consciousness as a result of this world that we live in, you know. Sorry, Aunt just walked on me. And you can become so sucked into these desires that you actually forget to live. You know, you actually just, your life is just passing you by because you're so sucked into wanting that you can't just be grateful for what you do have. You know, and this is a big trap that we get into, that the ego sucks us into, this wanting, this endless pit of wanting, and, you know, having is never enough for that part of, you know, that ego mind, you know, and you just get sucked into it. You get this one thing you wanted, and as soon as you get it, you don't even feel fulfilled by it, because the wanting was more fulfilling to your ego than actually having that thing. And so boom, on to the next desire, and on to the next one, and on to the next one. and you can lose yourself in trying to achieve certain things, because sometimes in this world you have to do certain things that maybe don't align with the truth of who you are, just so you can get a certain desire fulfilled. And that is not freedom. That is slavery. You're a slave to that desire. You're a slave to how the world is telling you you have to be, how you have to show up in order to be worthy of whatever that thing may be. And it's like, no. That's why sometimes we see a lot of, celebrities or public figures lose themselves in front of our eyes and just go down, dig themselves into a deep hole in trying to be what the world is telling them to be, in order for them to remain worthy of this said position in life that they have. And it's like, that's not freedom at all. You're a slave to the world, you're a slave to your desires, and then you become a slave to every single person that's now watching you, because it's like, now you've presented yourself as this person, as this identity or whatever, and now you have to live up to that, whether or not that actually is true to you. Even in relationships we see that a lot of the marriages that break down is because you thought, okay, if I want to be married, I have to be this person, I have to be this image, this version of a woman or a version of a man, in order to attract the right partner. These books that they say, do this and you attract the man of your dreams, or do this and you'll attract the woman of your dreams. And so you put yourself, your truth to the side, and you take on this identity that, oh, if I'm this person, then I will attract the person of my dreams. And then 5 years, 10 years, 15, it can be as long as it is, but a few years down the line, you get to a point where it's like, I don't want to be this person anymore, okay? It's too much work. It's too much work trying to keep up a version of self that doesn't even align with my truth. And you feel like you're in prison. That's why so much resentments get built up in these relationships, and that's why a lot of these divorces are so ugly and so like, where's the love? People look around and it's like, how did you guys ever love each other? And it's like, no, you didn't. You loved this fake self that this person was trying to portray in order to attract you. And when their true self came out, you were like, oh, I don't even recognize you anymore, because you don't. And no, that is so sad. I feel like even we do this for family members. We don't just do it for relationships, like romantic relationships. We also do this for friends, for family members. We sacrifice our truth. We sacrifice ourselves, our true ultimate selves, to keep someone in our life that wouldn't love and accept us for who we really are. And like, you don't want those relationships. You really don't. Even if it's your mom, even if it's your dad, you don't want that person in your life if they can't love you for who you really are. So you're losing yourself to keep someone in your life. Like, no. It's your life, it's your journey. You're creating your reality. This other person is creating their reality, right? And so you should not be sacrificing your dream life, your ultimate timeline, just to keep someone in your life that's not really even focused on that. They're focused on their journey. Another major thing is separating yourself from your creations. Okay, yes. This one is big, because sometimes we forget that even just this form, this body that I'm in, I created this body with which to experience this world, this earth, this plane of reality. And you forget that you are the creator, not the creation, and you become so identified with it that you forget who you really are. And now you are slave to everything that this thing you've created is experiencing, right? Even just daily life, life as a human is not perfect all the time. We experience darkness and we experience light. And that's just a part of what this reality is. This reality is just infinite intertwining of darkness and light. And when you become so identified with your creations, then you lose yourself to them, because you can't just witness them as the creator and just witness them. And now you're seeing life through your creations rather than through yourself as the creator of these things. And as we've said in all these previous points, you become a slave, which even ties into the illusion of control, which is my next point. Releasing the illusion of control. This shit keeps people locked in to so many things that just drain their life force, and it's just an illusion. Like recently I was having a conversation with this amazing woman I met here in Namibia, and I was just talking to her about like what's something that you felt like you lost yourself. You started to be lost in anxiety and in fear and in all these overthinking and blah blah blah. And after she gives the example, I say, okay, why did that thing, what was the reason that this thing sucked you into all these spirals of anxiety and of panic and of fear? And she says, because I can't control the situation, it's out of my control. And so many times, most times that someone is in a pit of anxiety, of fear, of panic, of depression, of anger, most of the times that is stemming from being shown by whatever it is you're experiencing that you never had control, really. We convince ourselves with our jobs, with insurance, with relationships, with our houses, with all these external things that yes, I'm in control. If I eat healthy and I work out every day, I will live to be 100. You don't know that. You have no idea if you are just meant to. An easy example is someone like Kobe Bryant. He had all these things laid out in his external reality that would have convinced anyone who believes in control that yes, I will live to be 80, 90, 100, whatever number you want to place there. And he just got on a helicopter and that was it. In a moment, all of that shit faded off and his soul went back to the spirit realm because that was his time. That was his time. And, we become so obsessed with control, and we can allow this mind, this ego, to convince us that it's real, that if I do this and if I do this and if I do this, then I'm in control, then I'm safe. And it's like, okay, yeah, we are always safe, truthfully. Even when something goes in a way that you didn't want it to go, you are always safe in the hands of your creator, in the hands of the universe, in the hands of, your true self, your soul. But this safety of like, I won't get hurt, I won't die, I won't be homeless, that kind of safety that the ego mind is obsessed with, security, material security. The ego mind can really suck you into feeling like when you have all these things in place in your external reality, then you are in control. Then you'll know what tomorrow holds, and you'll know what 6 months from now holds, and you'll know what life has in store for you 3-5 years from now. And it's like, actually you don't know what life has in store for you 5 minutes from now, let alone 20 seconds from now. Okay, I'm here shooting this video, anything could happen. Anything, like literally anything can happen. We live in an infinite universe of infinite possibilities, and this illusion of control actually, it cuts you off from infinite possibilities. It cuts you off from God, because that is what God is. God is the energy of infinite possibilities. And so being obsessed with control is actually praying to the devil, because the devil is limitations. It is the energy of limitations, because that's what keeps you away from infinite possibilities, which is God. That's what keeps you down. It keeps you as a slave, okay? As a slave to your fears, as a slave to your desires, as a slave to your embodied form, as a slave to control, okay? We don't need that anymore, you guys. We are moving into a space now as humans where it's time to claim our sovereignty, and not to claim, to reclaim, okay? Because it's always there, okay? It's always there, just waiting for you to accept it. God is always there, just waiting for you to surrender to infinite possibilities so that you can experience the magic of this amazing universe that we live in. Wow, okay. And by releasing this illusion of control, you instantly become one with the present moment, because you can finally accept that this present moment is all you ever have, period. The past doesn't exist right now. The future doesn't exist right now unless you are holding on to it in your mind, in your emotions. It doesn't exist unless you force it to exist in your personal reality. Now is this, it's infinite, and it's the only thing in life that keeps on giving. Being where you are and accepting that you are meant to be there for a reason, and just watching it, observing it, without losing yourself to whatever it is that the present moment is showing you, then you have the ability to live your truth no matter what is happening in your surroundings, because you're in full acceptance. And when you're in full acceptance of even those things that your ego mind might have told you, this is too much for me, I could never get through something like that. When you accept it and you're like, it's here because it was meant to be here, otherwise it wouldn't, because life is perfect in that sense, then you always have the freedom to react and respond from who you really are, from what feels right to you, from what feels true to you. And that's why I always end these videos by saying that you are the creator of your reality, because at the end of the day, some things that resonate with me might not resonate with you because I'm not you. And so my perspective is always gonna be unique to me. Like, not any single soul in all of existence will ever see life exactly how I see it. There are a lot of areas where we intertwine and where, our truths align with each other's, but my ultimate truth is only mine, and true freedom is being able to embrace that truth, no matter if the life around you doesn't necessarily align with it. Just being able to say, this is who I am, this is what feels right and true to me, and I'm going to honor that no matter what, and no matter how challenging it might be for my human, for my ego, for my body, for my feelings, for my emotions, for my baggage, for my karma, for my family. I mean, for me personally, as soon as I started living my truth, I really became the black sheep of my family. And I think that's also what holds a lot of us back in the long run, is being so afraid of losing the people we love because they wouldn't accept us for who we feel we truly are, deep within. And it's never gonna be worth it, because at the end of the day, your family is not experiencing your life for you. Only you are experiencing those things for yourself, and only you will feel that disappointment, that emptiness, that void that comes from denying your truth, that comes from denying your heart's longings, that comes from making choices that aren't aligned with who you really are. Because, as the example I used in the beginning of this video, Jada didn't have to experience what Will experienced from making that choice. Even though he made that choice for her, all those consequences fell on him because he's the one that took action, not her. And it doesn't matter how much this person loves you, they're not gonna there's no way they can experience that disappointment for you. There's no way they can experience that embarrassment for you, because it's you. It's your life. You made that choice, and now you have to live with it. And I think that's where we're going to end this video. If you have anything more that you'd like to add that I have maybe missed out, please drop it in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, I really truly appreciate you. Give this video a like, okay? It helps me out, okay? Just hit that like button. It's free. And as always, take what resonates and leave what doesn't, because you are the creator of your reality. Stay blessed, y'all. Stay infinite.